That's why, do you know what the #1 job of somebody that sold their soul in Hollywood is?
What?
Is to act like it didn't happen. They all do the same job.
They're
I
celebrating.
mean, you gotta admit, it's completely meaningless.
Well, they say they're celebrating icons inside.
Celebrating
Do you believe
icons,
in
boy,
icons?
that is just the absolute lowest aiming, possibility that we could come up with. It's like icons. What do you believe in icons? I don't believe in personalities. I don't believe that you exist, but there is a wonderful fragrance in the air.
You don't believe certain icons have the power to make change, to think differently, to be bold, to inspire others? Artistry, you're one of them.
On the good foot. Ha! Yeah. You shut her down now. Yeah, no, I don't believe in icons. I don't believe in personalities. I believe that peace lies beyond personality.
Katt Williams ain't speaking in riddles this time. He's pointing straight at Jim Carrey, and now the internet is asking why one of Hollywood's biggest stars suddenly started talking about fake identities, dark energy, and people losing themselves in the industry. Word is, Jim saw something behind them closed Hollywood doors that changed him forever. And some folks believe faking his own death was the only way out. And if even part of these rumors are true, then Hollywood's biggest smiles might be hiding the darkest secrets. For years, folks thought Jim Carrey was just another celebrity who got tired of Hollywood and started acting differently. That's the version the public got fed. A comedian getting older, becoming spiritual, stepping away from fame, talking weird in interviews. Simple, easy explanation. But now, people online looking back at Jim completely differently. Because once you line up the interviews, the sudden personality shift, his strange comments about fake identities, and the way he slowly disappeared from mainstream Hollywood, the story starts feeling darker than anybody expected. And according to Katt Williams, Hollywood ain't just built on fame and money. There are certain circles inside that world most regular people never see. Circles built around control, rituals, pressure, and keeping powerful images alive at all costs. Now slow down for a second, because this is where the Jim Carrey story starts getting uncomfortable. Back in the day, Jim Carrey was pure chaos in the best way possible. Loud energy, wild facial expressions, non-stop movement, unpredictable comedy. Dude felt untouchable. Every interview and appearance felt alive, but somewhere along the line, that energy shifted hard.
Is that a gang sign? Have you,
Oh, like you don't know what it is. You don't know what that is.
I have no idea.
You don't know. Jimmy Fallon doesn't know. David Letterman doesn't know.
We don't know.
All the comics and show business don't know what this is. Right? Yeah.
What is it?
Come on, Jimmy. Seriously, the time is up. People are hip to this kind of stuff. I'm here tonight to blow the lid off it, to be the whistleblower. I'm sick and tired of the secrets and the lies. It is the secret symbol of the Illuminati.
Suddenly, Jim started talking less like a comedian and more like somebody trying to warn people. He started calling Hollywood fake, saying celebrity culture was empty, talking about illusions, masks, and people losing themselves trying to survive fame. At first, folks laughed it off and called him eccentric, said Hollywood finally fried his brain.
They're
I
celebrating.
mean, you gotta admit, it's completely meaningless.
Well, they say they're celebrating icons inside.
Celebrating
Do you believe
icons,
in
boy,
icons?
that is just the absolute lowest aiming, possibility that we could come up with. It's like icons. Do you believe in icons? I don't believe in personalities. I don't believe that you exist, but there is a wonderful fragrance in the air.
You don't believe certain icons have the power to make change, to think differently, to be bold, to inspire others? Artistry, you're one of them.
On the good foot. Ha! Yeah. You shut her down now. Yeah, no, I don't believe in icons. I don't believe in personalities. I believe that peace lies beyond personality.
But then the interviews kept getting stranger, especially that red carpet moment when Jim openly said none of Hollywood mattered, almost like he was mocking the entire celebrity machine standing right in front of him. And the scary part, he didn't sound like somebody joking. He sounded exhausted, like somebody who had seen behind the curtain and regretted it. Now, here's where the internet really started spiraling, because around the same time Jim started distancing himself from Hollywood publicly, conversations about rituals, hidden celebrity circles, and strange industry behavior started blowing up online too. Suddenly, people weren't just looking at Jim as an actor anymore. They started looking at him like somebody trying to quietly escape. And honestly, when you connect Jim's behavior to the stories surrounding other celebrities, it starts feeling eerie. Take Beyonce, for example. For years, people online have whispered about closed-door preparation sessions, candles, strange stage formations, and her famous Sasha Fierce persona. Now, obviously, fans say it's just artistic creativity, performance art, stage energy. But internet conspiracy circles went way further than that. People started claiming Sasha Fierce wasn't just a stage character, but something spiritual tied to performance itself. Y'all remember that Queen Bey fan who went to see Beyonce, enjoy her concert, but ended up witnessing something strange and straight up terrifying?
This video, but I really think I saw a vampire at the Beyonce concert. I was at night 4 in Atlanta, and I love Beyonce. Like, I go to all her concerts. This is probably like my 5th or 6th Beyonce concert, and I never experienced anything like this. So the vibes were amazing. Like, we were having a great time. Everything was great up until the end when I started getting like this eerie feeling. And I was just like, you need to go. And I always leave concerts early because ain't nobody trying to get caught up in that mess, like trying to get an Uber, waiting hours, none of that stuff. So I'm walking down the stairs. I had to walk down a flight of stairs because I was like 100 level. I was in the suites. So I had to like walk down a flight of stairs, and I'm walking down the stairs, and this guy is walking up the stairs. He's by himself. He's like wearing like, obviously like the Beyonce cowboy giddy up type of outfit. I look him dead in his eyes and I smile because I'm always smiling at people, right? And he looks me dead in my eyes. He gives me like the most eerie smile I've ever seen, and his eyes turn red. And then I freeze, and then he keeps walking, and then I look back at him and he's gone, like he disappeared, like, and literally like he just disappeared out of nowhere.
Then things got even darker after Beyonce's former drummer, Kimberly Thompson, filed court documents back in 2018 accusing Beyonce of using extreme witchcraft and dark spiritual practices against her. Jaguar Wright was really loud about this one. Now, let's be clear, the case was dismissed and nothing was proven.
I think she
went and killed the girl Katt.
Okay.
A girl went to court and charged her with extreme witchcraft. She was hypnotized. She was. Beyonce came and she was in there eating on her and shit while she was asleep. You know, snacking on his bitch. People cats. And guess what? They wouldn't give her the restraining order. They just told her to stay away from Beyonce and work for somebody else. Guess what? She's having a hard time finding work too. Which is interesting because she's a brilliant musician. She was trained at the esteemed Berklee College of Music. Handpicked by my very good friend, Terry Lynn Carrington, Dr. Terry Lynn Carrington, who put together Beyonce's entire female band.
But that didn't stop the internet from running wild with theories. One user said, I remember hearing about her drummer, and she did try to file a restraining order. That woman sounded shocked. She moved away and everything. Another user put bluntly, it amazes me how all of Beyonce's fans worship her like she the Messiah and gets mad when you disagree with them about her. Because folks kept asking the same question. Why would somebody who worked around Beyonce for years suddenly make claims that extreme publicly? And once conversations about rituals started getting louder online, people began revisiting every celebrity who ever hinted that Hollywood wasn't normal behind closed doors. That includes Jim Carrey, because suddenly his comments about fake identities and losing yourself inside fame stopped sounding random to people online. They started sounding like warnings. Now pause for a second, because this next part is where the conversation gets even darker. When Katt Williams started speaking about Hollywood rituals and spiritual pressure around fame, folks originally thought he was exaggerating, but now the streets recalling the deaths of artists like Juice WRLD, XXXTentacion, and there seems to be a pattern. You see, both artists openly talked about darkness, demons, pressure, emotional exhaustion, and feeling trapped by fame before they died. XXXTentacion especially made people uncomfortable near the end of his life. Fans noticed he was changing spiritually, talking differently, trying to grow mentally, almost like somebody realizing the environment around him was dangerous. Then came that infamous Instagram post mentioning Drake before his death. If anyone tries to kill me, it was at Champagne Poppy. And after X was killed in 2018, conspiracy theories completely exploded online. Officially, Drake has denied wrongdoing and has never been charged in connection with the case.
I still think Drake as a man, no, I'm keeping a blood raw. I still think Drake like, I think he's not a man. I think that's a bitch move. especially when I was in jail facing life, bro. You get what I'm saying?
But online conversations never stopped there. People started believing X may have been trying to separate himself from certain industry energy before everything collapsed around him. Then came Juice WRLD. And honestly, this story still messes people up emotionally because Juice almost sounded like he knew his ending was coming. We ain't making it past 21. Then he dies at 21. Officially, authorities ruled his death an accidental overdose. But fans immediately started replaying old interviews, live streams, and freestyles searching for clues. And what they saw disturbed them. Juice looked drained near the end, tired, emotionally exhausted, like somebody carrying pressure too heavy to explain publicly. That's why Katt Williams' warnings started hitting different online, because people began asking themselves something uncomfortable. What if fame itself comes with hidden pressure most celebrities can't survive mentally? And if that's true, then maybe Jim Carrey didn't go crazy at all. Maybe he got scared, because the deeper you go into Hollywood stories, the stranger the patterns become. Artists rise fast, start talking differently, hinting at dark energy around fame, then either disappear, spiral publicly, or suddenly transform into somebody fans barely recognize anymore. And folks online believe Jim saw those patterns before most people did. That's why people revisit his later interviews so heavily now. The slow speech, the detached energy, the way he talked like somebody emotionally disconnected from the entire celebrity system. Some fans even believe the Jim Carrey people see today isn't really the same version the world grew up watching. The skin, face, and structure. Even the eyes, completely different. Not necessarily literal cloning like internet theories push sometimes, but symbolic replacement, a quieter, safer version, a public shell meant to keep functioning while the real Jim disappeared from the spotlight entirely. And honestly, when people saw Jim at more recent appearances, especially events like the César Awards, the theories only got louder. Fans immediately started saying the energy felt different. The smile looked forced, the eyes looked tired.
Comment était mon français? Presque médiocre, non? Pardonnez-moi, je ne parle pas que le mot français, mais je l'emprunte juste. Ma langue est fatiguée. Je vous aime tous, du fond du cœur. Merci.
Even longtime supporters kept saying the man standing there didn't feel like the Jim Carrey they remembered from years ago. Now, obviously, aging and changes people, but the internet keeps asking why so many celebrities start sounding spiritually exhausted after years inside Hollywood.
That's not Jim Carrey. That is not Jim Carrey. It's not him. It is so blaringly obvious. I, like everyone, has seen like the Selena Gomez theory. I'd heard about cloning, I'd heard about all that stuff, and was always like, that's not Jim Carrey. As my favorite actor and comedian of all time, I know that man. I have seen all of his interviews, him in all of his roles, I know his mannerisms. That is not him. That's not him. Look at his mannerisms in that video. Look at his face. His face is different. The same man who said awards are meaningless, that those people are evil, that all of it's meaningless. I don't know where Jim Carrey is. I'm gonna be praying for him for his safety, because that man, that is not Jim Carrey. Like, it's becoming real to me. Something's happening.
And once you connect that to the ritual conversation surrounding entertainment culture, the rabbit hole gets deep fast. Remember the Anthony Joshua's 2025 accident conspiracy theories? Some fans believe celebrities who allegedly go off script sometimes face strange consequences afterward. Officially, Anthony Joshua survived the Lagos Ibadan expressway accident with minor injuries, while 2 people close to him lost their lives. tragic accident, according to public reports. But online conspiracy circles immediately started connecting it to his Jake Paul fight days earlier, especially after footage circulated showing Joshua allegedly fighting more aggressively than expected. Voices like Joe Rogan openly questioned it. Why would a champion at Joshua's level even entertain something like that?
What do you think about Jake Paul, Anthony Joshua?
Boy. Well, realistically, it's one of the craziest propositions of all time. You take a guy who just had a boxing match that looks like a sparring match with a 58-year-old Mike Tyson, and then you're going to fight one of the absolute scariest knockout artists in the heavyweight division. Anthony Joshua is a specialist at. He's a specialist at putting knuckles through your brain, and that's what he's going to try to do to Jake Paul. And anything other than that, from a 34-year-old Anthony Joshua, will make us all think it's a fixed fight. Whether or not Joshua can do it, whether or not, Jake Paul shocks the world and shows us that he really does know how to box really well and moves really good and uses his jab and blows us all away with a strategy and a lot of footwork and movement and brings Usyk into his camp or Lomachenko's dad, even better, who's the guy who trained Usyk. He trained Usyk as well.
Then suddenly, a fatal crash. Again, no evidence supports ritual claims or intentional wrongdoing, but the internet started asking questions anyway, especially after Kanye West's old comments about sacrifice, trauma, and control inside entertainment started resurfacing online again.
The car crash with Anthony Joshua and losing two of his brethren, that was the human sacrifice ritual. And the reason why it happened is because he failed to do the humiliation ritual when he fought Jake Paul. Now, I'm not going to get too deep into it, but we know how it is in terms of, selling your soul and, the celebrities have to do certain things. But I don't give a f***. It's not just a coincidence that literally 10 days after, or however after days that he fought Jake Paul, he gets into a car crash and two of his brethren died and he was the only one that, didn't get unalived.
I don't care who you are. I ain't taking no slice from nobody, right? I ain't taking no slice from nobody. It's God. That's the only person that I serve. My mom ain't here. My mama was sacrificed.
Me too.
You understand?
Yeah, I appreciate you.
Michael Jordan, what about him? His daddy, right? Bill Cosby, his son, right? Dr. Dre, his son. Out in Hollywood, a lot of people come up missing. Feels like it might be a lot of that in order to control, traumatize. They want to monetize and traumatize. And they wanted to medicate me every day. You realize, they could have just switched to medication and I wouldn't be here. And on the news, they would have said it was because of a mental issue.
Now think about how somebody like Jim Carrey would react seeing conversations like this year after year. Celebrity breakdowns, deaths, pressure, handlers, ritual rumors, artists talking about losing themselves mentally. Wouldn't that make somebody want to disappear completely? Because the more Jim spoke publicly, the more it sounded like somebody emotionally rejecting Hollywood itself, not just stepping away from movies, rejecting the entire machine. And maybe that's why people believe the fake death theory emotionally instead of literally. Not that Jim physically died, but that the version of Jim Carrey the world loved publicly had to disappear in order for the real person to survive privately. And honestly, that theory scares people more than cloning stories, because suddenly it stops sounding like science fiction and starts sounding human. A celebrity becoming so overwhelmed by fame, pressure, expectations, and hidden industry culture that he mentally walks away from the identity the world created for him. That's why this conversation refuses to disappear online, because when people look at Jim Carrey now, they don't just see an actor aging naturally, they see somebody who may have escaped something. And the deeper people go into stories surrounding Beyonce's ritual rumors, Juice WRLD's dark lyrics, XXXTentacion warnings, Anthony Joshua conspiracy theories, and and Kanye West's breakdowns about Hollywood control, the harder it becomes for conspiracy-minded viewers online to believe all these stories are completely disconnected. An online critic hit hard. To those who disbelieve in evil, I will just say this: the greatest lie the devil ever told was that he doesn't exist. Another wrote, I know that Katt would not ever want to be seen as a liar or hypocrite. He's trying to tell us all something here without saying it out loud. Maybe Jim Carrey simply changed with age. Maybe he got spiritually exhausted from fame. Maybe he walked away because Hollywood stopped feeling real to him anymore. Or he saw something inside those elite circles that made him realize survival meant disappearing before the system swallowed him completely. And honestly, that possibility is exactly why people keep replaying his interviews years later, because sometimes the people laughing the loudest end up carrying the darkest secrets. Now the spotlight turns to y'all. Do you think Jim Carrey genuinely walked away from Hollywood to protect his peace? Or do you believe there's truth behind these theories about rituals, hidden celebrity circles, and fake identities? Why do so many artists openly talk about darkness, pressure, losing themselves, or feeling spiritually drained before disappearing from the spotlight? And out of all these stories involving Jim Carrey, Beyonce, Juice WRLD, XXXTentacion, Kanye West, and Anthony Joshua, which one feels the strangest to you? Drop your take in the comments. Let's get this convo going, because this story is far from over. And if you thought this was wild, click the next video to dive even deeper.